If you find democracy which is more than in DP in another party, please come and tell me. It doesn't exist. We elect our leaders, we debate issues openly, and the organs are functioning. Unfortunately, the media thinks that disagreement means chaos. Disagreement does not mean chaos. Actually, we encourage disagreement so that the best ideas may prevail. That's the purpose of debate. Even me, I want the best idea for myself. I want the best decision for myself. And that can only come from debate. What we discourage are squabbles. What you are seeing in DP now are really squabbles. They are not disagreements. When there are real disagreements, we debate them. I'm sorry we have disappointed the media and some of the negative forces in DP who were thinking that the Mao business solidarity has collapsed. We really apologize for disappointing you. It doesn't mean we agree on 100%. I don't want a robot as my vice president. I don't want a zombie. I want somebody who has the courage to tell me that, Mr. President, this is what I think. Because I want to encourage all the people around me to also think. That should tell you the kind of Ugandan leader I will be. I'll not be having psychopaths around me. To be a kind of Ayatollah. So just to clear the air, many of you were very excited when the National Vice President wrote a letter to me concerning the cooperation agreement. And you are looking for me so that you start a fight. That is really what the media in Uganda is. And one day you'll start a war and you'll regret. You started a war in Kawempe and you paid a very heavy price. You encouraged it, you the media. Yes, you did. You are the one who took the magistrates there. You set fire in Kawempe. Then when the fire starts burning you, then you started crying. Why don't you talk about the real problems of Kampala? Kampala has problems that the government needs to respond to. It is not about killing the family of President Museveni. It is not about killing members of the security forces. We have people who are suffering. The slums that need to be redeveloped. People who need government programs. Those are legitimate concerns. But for you bring drama. So when you saw this letter, you are really excited. You bought popcorn and you now are waiting to watch the usual Katemba. Shame on you. And shame on all those. The disagreements are still there. But we have agreed that the priority right now is to head to the National Delegates Conference. And then the leadership of the party will take the necessary decisions in a responsible manner. So, that is the second purpose of the press conference. To demonstrate the solidarity of the leadership of the Democratic Party. And I think this is a demonstration that we are together. Because this is really the core of the leadership of the Democratic Party. And I still remain the glue that is holding the team together. You were expecting, you were inviting me to your talk shows, come to this one, come to this one. Honorable Mbide has said this, what do you have to say? I'm a president of a party and a prospective president of the country. When you're a president of a party and aspiring to be a president of a country, it means you have power. Now, when you have power, you must also have responsibility. You cannot give power to people without responsibility. The other power which is being abused in this country is the power to vote. A vote is like a bullet. Why do we restrict firearms? Why do we insist that before we give you a license to own a gun, you must train and you must know that there are very few circumstances under which you have a right to take a human life. When I went for firearms training, I had to sit in class to be taught. And the question to me was, if somebody is coming to take your light from your car, an indicator, can you shoot him to death? I said no, because I must balance between the price of the indicator and the value of human life. So we must protest against power without responsibility. Our citizens have the power to vote, but that power is really being abused. And that is why Uganda is called a republic. Now, a democracy means everybody is around to decide. A republic means representatives take decisions. We are the Republic of Uganda because we have decided that we have put the candidates in a sieve and we send them to parliament to decide for us. That's why we are called Republic. In a kingdom like Uganda, it is called Lukiko or Kuchika. Of course, anybody who is in their banana plantation, in the coffee plantation, has opinions. But the system here is that a few people sit in that Bulange building and think for the kingdom, to make decisions. So I'm very pleased that today we are standing together. We have been talking with the Vice President, and even from Soroti we were talking, and I told him that let us agree on sequencing. What matters most? What comes first? You must do things knowing the order. The order matters. There's a rather funny story about a monkey that observed a person in a toilet which had an open door. He saw the person do his thing, then he used toilet tissues to clean himself. But the monkey forgot the order. It wondered, did he first clean himself and then do the thing? So it was confused. So it went and first cleaned itself and then proceeded and then walked out proudly. The order matters. The most important thing in DP right now is not the cooperation agreement. Because the cooperation agreement is about DP. We must first of all make sure the party is standing and it is strong and it is together. That way we can deal with anybody. We can contend with anybody, whether it is NRM, whether it is which party. After all, we are here in Uganda. So this press conference is about first things first. We must decide with what is most important, first and foremost. So if a fire catches your house and the house is burning, do you chase the rats that are running from the fire, or you first save your valuables from the house? That is what this press conference is about. So many of the people out there just are saying, please let's chase the rats. Really? Is that the most important priority for a party like DP? The very party has a lot of problems. We are not even sure who our members are anymore. Some of our leaders have books for Nook, they also have books for DP. They are registrars for DP, they are also registrars for NUP. And that is why the core of the party, some are in this formation or concoction called DA. So it is important that those of us who have had the privilege of guarding this party at the moment of maximum danger, we continue to declare that we welcome the challenge and we welcome the privilege. It is not that we enjoy fighting. We have never started any fight in DP. We only end the fights. Other people start the fights. So today we are assuring the members all over Uganda, we are sending a message to our party grassroots that we are standing strong together because we know that we are stronger together. Now, those who are undermining the solidarity of the party are the enemies of the party. We don't have time for them because also dealing with them will be like chasing rats when our house is burning. So we have to practice what we are preaching. In Soroti, we gave a decisive response to the calls for a clear roadmap taking us to the National Delegates Conference. We took critical decisions, which I read here, and we issued important resolutions. What remains now is implementation without any further delay. We announced, and the organs of the party agreed, National Executive Committee and the National Council, that all roads lead to Mbarara for the National Delegates Conference. Nothing else matters right now. What matters is the Delegates Conference. And the Delegates Conference will take place. And the administrative decisions which have been taken are decisions that have been taken by the party and they will be implemented. There is nothing that the Secretary General does without my knowledge and approval and the concurrence of the Management Committee, which is a constitutional body that meets here every week to make decisions. I want to assure all members of DP that we continue to welcome recommendations. Now, there's a difference between recommending and deciding. Some people think because they have the power to recommend, they have the power to decide. We here have the power to decide. The rest are recommendations. Some are wise, some are stupid, some are malicious. We will welcome all of them, but we reserve the right to make the decisions. So, know who has the power to make the decisions. You can't sit on TikTok and call yourself a decision maker. Otherwise, you can have chaos. You cannot. I'm a Catholic. Can I now record a TikTok and say, if so and so is not elected Pope, it will be bloody? But that's what Ugandans do. If you are a Catholic, you know that the body that makes the decision is the College of Cardinals, as prescribed in the canons of the church. So, the culture of chaos has to be fought in this country. Unfortunately, I do not know. Fortunately, my vice president, apart from being a lawyer, is also a journalist with a degree in mass communication. I don't know why a lot of attention is given to self-styled warlords. You get the media paying a lot of attention on somebody who is boxing metals and so on and claim that they are going to rescue somebody from a government prison. If you try that, there will be a funeral in your village. And the funeral will be yours. But you go and with your muscles. Why would you do that? And the media continues to encourage that kind of culture in Uganda. Our promise is that the processes in DP will be beyond reproach. There were questions about pronouncements by the Secretary General. The pronouncements were ratified by the Management Committee, which is the body empowered to make decisions in between NEC meetings. So the decision is valid and lawful under the Constitution of the Democratic Party. We believe in constructive engagement with our members. As we drive the process forward, we will take into account serious proposals until the supreme organ of the party pronounces itself. As we elect the National Executive Committee, there will be two things. There will be change, but there will also be continuity. You are likely to see some new faces on the National Executive Committee. But you are also likely to see the hardcore remaining intact. Because we have a battle. And up here and among some of you there, we have the hardcore of the party that has kept the party. Even those who said the party had been sold now want to come and lead it. If it had been sold, it means it is not there. So what are you coming to lead? So let us stop commenting. At stake is the future of Uganda. Commenting on the root causes of divisions in the party, we want to distinguish between petty squabbles and principal disagreements. What was between me and the National Vice President was a principal disagreement. But what we have, which you people are excited about, are petty squabbles. Unfortunately, petty squabbles is what our poor Ugandans are wasting a lot of their data on. Instead of using their data to buy and sell and improve their lives, they go on TikTok and say, oh, so and so has hit hard at so and so. Does that improve your economic life? Does that pay fees for your children? So what? We have warned even some of our own youth. One time, a member of parliament from DP came here that he's coming to take back his grandfather's party. He paid some youth, he came here, and he thought he was very big. So the police arrested him and kept him behind bars for 2 days, then released him. This is a member of parliament. Why would you do such? You want to, that one will not make you to be a Uganda martyr. That is stupidity. Because the Uganda martyrs had a cause. This one had no cause. Why do they do that? To manipulate the minds of the citizens. So he leads the youth, he brings them here, they are arrested, they stay in jail. Well, for him, because he's a member of parliament, he's driven back to his home. Then he goes to his house. First he enters his air-conditioned car. Then he goes to his house. Then he asks for the remote control. Then he wants to watch himself on TV. How heroic he is, how he is suffering for democracy, how the police... So he said, now for sure you must suffer for democracy. It was important that he suffered for democracy, for real. Because the real people who are suffering for democracy are really suffering. The politicians who incite them are not suffering. He goes to his house, drinks a cold glass of orange juice, and then he says, Babilaze ko TV. Why would you do that for sure? If you love your people, why would you do that? So we are also protesting against that kind of fake opposition. In fact, they are the ones delaying change in Uganda because they are so fake. You saw them in parliament. They signed the list of those who are protesting against the money that the MPs receive. Then they also signed the list for receiving. Except that, you know, if you don't respect somebody, you don't even talk about them. So I can tell you the government and even the ruling party does not respect those people at all. Otherwise, they would have already released the list with their signatures. But they are useless. We want to invite those who disagree with us to embrace the spirit of sober deliberation, so that we disagree without being disagreeable. The National Executive Committee elected in Gulu is largely intact. Our National Legal Advisor left and joined NUP, is now a Member of Parliament for Kawempe North. We wish him luck. Our President of the Women's League also left. I understand she has been assured that she can win the seat in Kalungu. A political party is not a prison. You can leave. But why should you stay in a party if you believe the party no longer represents your ideals? Why would you stay in the party just to keep fighting and destroying it? So compared to the 2005 and 2010 National Delegates Conferences, where the sitting party president only went to the delegates conference with a tiny fraction of their national executive committees. 2005, Dr. Semogele only had 3 members of his national executive committee as he showed up for the delegates conference. The same in Mbale. I'm pleased to report that amid its turbulence, amid its storms, I have captained the ship and I will take it back to the delegates in Mbarara on the 30th of May. It will be up to the delegates to decide whether I can be entrusted with the task of undertaking another voyage as party leader. I will deliver the ship, salute, and ask, do I still qualify to go back to the stormy waters? Or you have found somebody better? Is there a better form of democracy than that? In DP, we don't ring fence. There is no resolution that tavuganyizibwa. It doesn't exist in DP. We have competition. Finally, you can see the national character of this team here. Our top leaders are actually not from the same region. The President, Secretary General, Vice President and National Chairman, National Treasurer, National Organizing Secretary, National Publicity Secretary. We represent Uganda. DP remains Uganda made simple. In 2005, I wrote a paper asking one question: whose party is it? This party is for all of us. So let us keep DP as a national party. The opponents of this team are parochial provincialists. They think in terms of regions, and they don't even represent the region well. They only use the name of Buganda, but they will never go to parliament to move a single motion. I am the Minister of Justice. I can tell you that the government is determined to continue responding to the pressures. It is only the size of the purse which sometimes undermines the capacity of the government. Everybody in Uganda has a claim. Rwenzururu has a claim. Luwero has a claim. The Kingdom of Buganda has a claim. The areas in the north that had war, they have a claim. So we must solve this problem together as a country. This is what matters most. We are still a poor country. We cannot pretend to be a rich country. So I want to assure you that as long as I'm president of the party, we will confront those who are playing politics of tribalism, and I'm sure we will defeat them. But this is not the first time DP has confronted such people. In the 1960s, there was a party here called Kabaka Yeka. If you went to register for elections, they would cut your banana plantation, they would ostracize you, but they were confronted and unmasked. So I call upon the young generation of DP, because we are really preserving this party for you. And we warn you against joining these fights. These are not your fights. I was a young man when there was a fight between Dr. Semovere and some members of his group. I didn't join that fight, because for me that wasn't my fight. So I see a lot of our young people being confused into joining a silly fight. We still have people who need to be exposed and unmasked. Those whose thinking is provincial versus those whose thinking is national. So Mbarara is going to be about nationalists and provincialists. And once again, we are going to defeat the parochial provincialists. First, they don't have the numbers. Number two, they are very narrow-minded. Number three, they have no program for taking the party forward. So you want to be president of the party, for what? What are you going to do with the position? This is a position even without the salary, in case you want a salary. So what do you want to do? On the contrary, by the time I came to be president of the party had been in existence for 56 years. We even had two former mayors of Kampala who were very senior in the party. The party did not even own a pit latrine in Kampala. Akayu, it did not have Kabuyonjo in this city. It is our team that has given this party this property, and the property behind it, and another big property near the King's Palace on Kisosonko Lane. We have property in Soroti. We have a property in Agago. We have a property in Pade. These are things that the young people should realize, that it is the way to show that the party is there to stay. Ironically, we acquired property even before the ruling party of NRM. It was only after us that I heard rumors that they rushed to buy property in Nakasero. So let there be no doubt whatsoever, the banner of truth and justice will never be surrendered into the hands of reactionary forces that seek to reduce the party to a small-minded outfit serving narrow interests as opposed to the founding ideals of the party. We have had these differences whenever we are going for a delegates conference. But we listen. Incidentally, because of our culture of democracy, we listen. As we headed to Mbale, there are those who claim that the process violated the party constitution. But they knew the truth. They boycotted the delegates conference because their defeat was imminent. They knew they would be unmasked the way they were unmasked in Soroti during the National Council. They had been telling lies to the people, and when I spoke the truth, they were embarrassed. I told the council members that these members of parliament are aware of whatever I did. They were the first to read the draft of the cooperation agreement. So if now you have a second opinion, we shall discuss using the organs of the party. As an individual, you cannot have a veto on what the party does.